Hello, good morning, everyone. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. Coming to you live on Monday morning with my cup of tea. I'm going to give everyone a few seconds to jump on and tell me all about your weekend. My name is Visa. I am a mindset and an empowerment coach, and I help women create a life that they're obsessed with and fall in love with who they are. And let me know how your weekend went, guys. All right, so this weekend I have been reading all about the law of attraction, and I am kind of a geek when it comes to that. And I'm constantly trying to learn as much as I can about it and then implement the things that I learn. So this weekend I had to do a couple of long 1-hour drives up and down the highway. And so one of my favorite ways, I just realized I did not start my live on my other device. So sorry about that. So this weekend I was doing a lot of listening to audiobooks all about the law of attraction. And so I thought I would make a quick video on why the law of attraction might not be working for you. So first of all, before I go into that, the law of attraction basically states that that which is like is drawn unto itself. That which is like is drawn unto itself. So if you break that down, it basically means that when two like things are always drawn to each other, right? That's common sense. So if you break it down into the basic things in the world, like all things are made up of atoms, and atoms have positive and negatively charged. I'm probably going to butcher the science of this, but you know, all things are made up of atoms and energy. So the table that I'm looking at and I'm resting my phone on is made up of that. The iPad that I'm looking at, the phone that I'm looking at, the chair that I'm sitting on, the bed that I'm looking at, every single thing is made up of atoms, and atoms are basically charged particles or energy, right? That's all it is. So, and this is one of the most basic universal laws, is that when two charged particles of the same energy, if they're charged the same way, they're attracted to each other. They're magnetized, right? So simple fact. And hey, Monica, and the same thing applies to people. So if things are made up of atoms and energy, so are people. So, and what happens to particles? They're always vibrating, right? You might have learned this in science and in physics, and one of the things that we learn is that things are always vibrating at a certain energy. And so people are vibrating at a certain energy, which I found fascinating when I first learned the law of attraction, is that we're all just beings that are vibrating on a physical world. And so the things that you want in life, so the money, the jobs, the type of body that you desire, the type of relationships that you desire, the experiences that you desire, all of those are also charged and vibrating at a certain level. And the reason that some of us attract those things easily to our realm, the physical realm, and some of us struggle to attract those things into our physical realm is simply because we are not matched to the vibration of the things that we desire. It's as simple as that. So if you want to win a vacation to Costa Rica for free, you just have to vibrate at that level, which sounds like such a weird concept. It's like, how do I vibrate? Hey, Kulvinder, hey, Mindy, how do I vibrate at a level that brings me that Costa Rican vacation, right? So this is where I wanted to dive into why we have such a hard time with the law of attraction, because we read the books and we're like, oh, that sounds simple enough, I'll just do it. And most of us, we get frustrated and we think, oh, it doesn't work for me, it only works for a certain number of people. Maybe I haven't cracked the code on why it works for some and doesn't work for others. So the number one thing that I learned from reading what I read this weekend is that there is just too much discrepancy. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that you're vibrating at a certain level, right? All you are seeing is your manifestation of your physical world. Everything that you have today created in your life is a result of how you have been vibrating. And so when we think about the law of attraction, we think about, oh, I want to go from making $0 to $10,000 a month. And you try to get into the vibration of what $10,000 feels like. There is just too much discrepancy, right? Like, we've never vibrated at that level. So how do you go from 0 to 10,000? And then you're thinking to yourself, yes, I'm vibrating at that level, and you're not. And so you almost immediately give up because it's just the discrepancy is too much. And so what happens is that the complete opposite of what you mean to happen happens. The more you focus on making that $10,000, the more actually, instead of focusing on making the 10,000, what is actually forcing you to do is making you focus on the lack of the 10,000. Does that make sense? The more you focus, what you're thinking about is that you're focusing on the positive. But think about it as two ends of the stick. This is what Abraham Hicks talks about. Think about the two ends of a stick, right? Everything, there's always two ways of looking at everything. One is you look at a need for it. So the lack of money or the need for money, right? There's always two ends of the stick. And what most of us tend to do is always focus on the lack of. We all tend to focus on the lack of. Even when we tell ourselves that we are looking at the positive aspect of it, what it forces us to do is actually focus on the lack of it. So initially for the law of attraction, when we start out, there's just way too much discrepancy to where we are, to where we want it to go, all right? And I'm going to come back and talk to you guys about the possible solutions for all of this. And number two, I've already touched on this, is that we are focusing on the lack, even when we tell ourselves that we are focusing on the positive. Hi, Letta. Look forward to meeting you tomorrow in person and having lunch. So, and this happened to me as well. We're focusing on the lack, even when we tell ourselves that we are focusing on the positive. So what do I mean by this is when you tell yourself that, that I want money, right? When you focus on I want money, that comes from the perspective of I don't have enough money today, right? Makes sense? So even when you focus on I want money, you're coming from a lack perspective because it just puts more emphasis on the fact that I don't have the money that I want today, all right? So that's problem number two. So problem number three is our overall vibration is just too low. And I actually want to skip ahead and talk about the solution for this. So in the morning, like when you start out your day, this was mind-blowing to me when I realized this, is that most of us get up in the morning and the first feeling, think about the first feeling that you had when you woke up this morning. Was it, oh, I haven't had enough sleep? Or was it, oh, I can't believe it's morning already, I need to wake up? If any of this is resonating with you, like give me some likes and hearts. If I touch on any of the feelings that you had when you woke up this morning. Was it, oh my gosh, I haven't had enough sleep. I feel so tired. I wish I could sleep for another 15 minutes. I can't believe my snooze is going off again. Was it those kind of feelings? So even when we start our day, from the very first thought that we have in the morning, our vibration starts off too low. So when we are trying to force ourselves to feel a better thought, it seems really, really hard work, right? So one of the first ways to turn that around is to wake up with a positive thought in the morning. So what the law of attraction says is that because like things attract more like things, start with a very small positive thought in the morning. As simple as when you open your eyes, I am so glad that I get to have another day in this world. I am so, like, my sheets feel so nice and warm. My bed is so comfortable. And really give yourself 2 to 3 minutes in the morning to think of all the positive aspects, as many positive aspects as you can, that feels realistic and in the spiritual world, like in the physical world, I mean. The fact that you get to wake up next to your spouse, that you have a loved one right next to your bed, that your kids are safe and still asleep in their bedrooms, right? Those are all very small positive vibrations that we can pick up on right away when we wake up in the morning. Because when you start out on that foot, what that does is attract more like things, more, and it not forces you. The vibration is already set up for you to look at and bring in more positive aspects into your life. Does that make sense as the day goes on? This is why when you have a bad start to the morning, you seem to attract more bad things. Like when you start your day off stubbing your toe into the bed, on the bed, and then you seem to have no hot water in the morning, and then that leads to you spilling your coffee on your lap that day. And that leads you to having a bad day at work. You know what I mean? Like you start off on the wrong foot and you say, I got out on the wrong side of bed. And the rest of the day just seems to go that way. It's because we start attracting the negative energy, because we start our day out with the low vibration. And the low vibration then leads to you attracting more low vibrational things. And it's harder to go from a low vibration to a very higher vibration, right? It's incremental steps that you need to take, which is why when you go from stubbing your toe in the morning to like having a great day, it seems so hard to pull yourself out of it. So start with a positive thought, or as many positive thoughts as you can in the morning. And then the fourth thing is that we oscillate too much between the good and the bad, the low vibration to the high vibration. I am so guilty of this. There have been days where I have felt like on top of the world. I am literally high on life. And then boom, something happens and takes me out of feeling that way. And then I go back to like 2 or 3 days of feeling super bad about what's happened. And so the universe is like, hey, you were like on a really good momentum. What the heck happened, right? So drop any questions or comments that you have. If you're confused about anything that I'm talking about, or you want more clarification on what I'm saying, feel free to drop them in the comments box and I would love to answer them. All right, so we just tend to oscillate way too much. Oh, my friend just texted me. We tend to oscillate way too much between feeling good and feeling bad, and feeling good and feeling bad. So you never really get the momentum, right? So that's another reason why the law of attraction might not be working for you. And then the fifth reason is that, excuse me, we might tell ourselves, hey, like, and you might get into a really good space of in a higher vibration, feeling good, and you're asking for all these things that you want in your life. But at the end of the day, you tell yourself that you're not worthy or deserving of receiving these things because maybe you think you're not working hard enough, or you don't feel good enough where you work, and you compare yourself to your peers. And again, that sets you off into a low vibration. I'm going to give you examples for these. So for instance, yesterday I looked at a post. Let me see. So yesterday I had been looking for one of my necklaces I had lost. I took it on a recent trip, and I knew I packed it coming back, but I couldn't find it. When I unpacked it at home and I took out everything and I put it away, I couldn't find this necklace. It was a gold necklace, and I was freaking out. And so like 2 or 3 weeks had gone by, and every time I thought about finding this necklace, it gave me feelings of like, oh shit, I can't believe I've lost it. It was a gift from someone. What am I going to say when this I'm going to have to tell this person I've lost. Like, it just went down this rabbit hole of me basically feeling bad and guilty and embarrassed that I lost it and ashamed that I lost it, right? And I know for losing a necklace, maybe you feel like I'm just exaggerating, but it really isn't, because when you put a magnifying glass on all these millions of thoughts that are going through your head, you really do go down the rabbit hole really, really fast. And in the past, in the last 3 weeks that I've been looking for this necklace, anytime I thought about this necklace, it made me feel bad, right? So yesterday we were getting ready to go out, and I was wearing my Indian traditional clothes, and again, this thought of this necklace popped up. And I was like, oh shit, I still haven't found it. So immediately I caught myself. I was like, okay, this is a low vibration. Anytime you feel bad, that is an indication that you're out of alignment with what you want to feel. Because ultimately, we are just spiritual beings in a physical world. And as a spiritual being, we are not meant to feel anger or pain or hurt or disgust or embarrassment or shame, because these are all low vibrational feelings, right? The only things as spiritual beings that we know is love. That is all we were designed to experience and receive, right? So that is why anytime you have feelings that are of low vibration, it makes you feel bad, because that is so out of alignment. When we were designed to come to this physical world, we were not meant to feel these feelings. So anytime you feel bad, it's because you're out of alignment. And I've completely gone off topic. So anyway, this feeling of this lost necklace came up yesterday morning as I was getting ready, I caught myself and I was like, okay, so anytime you feel bad, stop and ask yourself, what would I rather be feeling instead? That is the key to turn it around, right? Anytime you feel bad, ask yourself, what would I rather be feeling instead? What do I want to feel, right? So yesterday I asked myself this question, and the necklace came up, and I said, what do I want to feel instead? And I said, I want to feel a celebration of having found this necklace. I want to find relief, and I want to feel how easy it was to find this necklace, and I want to feel how effortless it was, and I want to feel happy wearing it again, right? So I felt all of those feelings, and immediately it made me feel better. Instead of focusing on finding the necklace, I focused on what is it going to feel like when I have the necklace, right? It's a subtle shift, but it's a huge change in how you feel. So I focus on all those feelings, and I kid you not, I told my husband, oh my gosh, I need to find this necklace. And that's when the bad feelings came up. And he asked me, have you tried looking in the suitcases that you unpacked, Vara? And I said, yes, I've looked. And I said, I am sure it will turn up somewhere, right? Is what I told him. And then he stepped away to get dressed. And as he stepped away and I was feeling bad, I caught myself in the moment and I asked myself, well, what would I rather feel instead? And I went down this list of this is what I'd rather feel instead. And then I started telling myself things like, I remember packing it. It's got to be in the house somewhere. It will turn up at the perfect time when I'm meant to find it. It's going to be easy to find it. So I was telling myself incrementally better thoughts. Not the thought of, oh shit, I can't find my necklace. Oh yay, I found my necklace, right? That discrepancy, what I mentioned before, is just too big. Instead, I focused on the feelings that I wanted to have instead. And I told myself the logical things that I already knew was true, which is I remember packing it back when I came back from my trip. And I knew it was somewhere in the house because there's no way I'm going to throw away a gold necklace in the trash, right? So I was telling myself all these logical things. And I kid you not, within 5 minutes of this happening, my husband found the damn necklace. Yes, he did, and I wore it. So it just goes to show you how powerful the law of attraction really is. And a lot of times it's our very own thoughts that prevents the universe helping us. I had prevented the universe from helping me find that necklace. It is true. Because of these negative vibrational feelings and thoughts and emotions I'd had. And when I turned that around and started to focus on how do I want to feel instead, that necklace turned up literally in a matter of like seconds and minutes. So, and then the other thing is, these are all very simple examples, but this is how we put ourselves in a low vibrational feeling every single day. The other thing, what happened was, I saw somebody on Facebook being said, how they were celebrating something, right? And another person had posted about them and said, there is nothing unexceptional about you, or something like that. It was just a really sweet, loving note, right, about this person. This is how self-centered us human beings are. And that immediately made me feel bad. And I was like, well, there's that. And I realized, and again, I caught myself and I asked, okay, thank you for bringing up this feeling, which means that I'm out of alignment. Hey, Josie, good morning, which means that I'm out of alignment with how I want to feel. How would I rather feel instead? I want to feel exceptional. I want to feel appreciated. I want to feel recognized. I want to be seen for who I am, right? Those were the 4 things that came up for me that when I seen this post. And I immediately felt better. And I immediately felt better because I focused on what it is that I wanted and how I wanted to feel. Most of us ignore the feelings, right? Most of us just focus on the things, like we want the money. But we don't focus on how is the money going to make me feel. The money is going to make you feel free. So focus on the feelings of freedom. How is getting that next promotion going to make you feel? It's going to make you feel powerful. It's going to make you be seen as a lead. It's going to make you feel like a leader. It's going to make you feel recognized for your hard work, right? So focus on the feeling. So when I focus on how I wanted to feel, the bad feelings of that unworthiness and undeserving just immediately went away. And I was immediately in a better place, in a higher vibrational space, okay? And then the last, and I've already touched on this, is we tend to focus on the things instead of the feelings that we want to feel. So these are the 6 reasons why the law of attraction probably is not working for you. So what is the solution? The biggest change that I have personally found is when I wake up in the morning, before my feet touch the ground, I spend the 2 to 3 minutes just going through and thinking about and intentionally telling the universe, the day, that I am and I'm open to vibrationally elevating myself, right? That I'm open to looking at all the positive aspects in the people, the circumstances, the experiences that I have today. I set that intention. And the way I do it is from the morning, like I said, I appreciate the sheets that I'm sleeping on, the comfortable bed, the fact that I have a hot shower and clean running water, and that I can open my eyes, the breath that goes in and out of me, the body that carries me and supports me. my health. And in 2 to 3 minutes, you can come up with so many things that that are positive in your life in that very moment, right? And start your day out that way. And then when you go to bed at night, really do a very small prayer. If you don't believe in prayer, just a small saying that basically says, I let go of everything that I have held on to today that no longer serves me. I intend to reset my law of attraction like compass in me, and that I only tend to start the day tomorrow again with being a vibrational match for the only things that I want. These might just seem like words, but when you really mean them and you put intention behind them, it's amazing how powerful it is. And my whole attitude for the mornings have changed dramatically in the last few months. I was such a bitch in the morning. I was not a morning person. My husband and my kids used to avoid me. And now it's completely changed, because I wake up and I spend, even when my kids have already jumped into bed in the morning and say that they wake me up, I'm intentional about setting aside 30 seconds to a minute to really appreciate the things that are around me. And that sets me off to a better day. And next time you feel bad about something, I really want you to put this into practice. Ask yourself, I feel bad because I'm feeling things that are out of alignment. What would I rather feel instead? What do I want to feel in this moment instead? Ask yourself that. And really look at and talk yourself out of that situation. So another example I have is, I have to jump off in a couple of minutes. But yesterday, a contractor was supposed to come around to give me an estimate for some work I want to get done around the house. And they didn't, and I was going to say, of course they didn't come. You see how I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it. So this contractor, they did not come around yesterday. And I jumped to the conclusion that, of course, all contractors are this way. They don't keep their words, right? We all have these stories that we have about how contractors and just any person that provides service is unreliable, right? Like, give me some likes if you agree with me. We have these stories because we've heard them from everyone else, and we've probably experienced them because we've heard them from everyone else. We have believed in that story, and it's manifested itself as a truth to us. So I was jumping to conclusions, and I was like, oh my God, so this is like a million miles an hour roller coaster, right? This is how we go from somebody didn't turn up and keep their word to their appointment to all contractors are this way. Like, it's just like, it just shoots down so quickly. So I was on this roller coaster of telling myself the story about how unreliable contractors are. And then I caught myself in the moment, because I'm like, I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to not trust contractors, right? So I stopped myself and I said, why do I feel this way? I felt this way because somebody had not respected my time and they hadn't kept their word, right? And I don't want to mistrust anyone, because that's out of alignment, because that's not how if you're mistrusting someone, that means you are not looking at the world with love. So that's why it didn't feel right to me. So I asked myself, how would I rather feel instead? So I started telling myself, I want to feel that my time is important. I want to feel respected, and I want to feel that I can trust people's word. And then I said, you know what? This contractor has done work for us before. He has been extremely reliable. I'm sure something has come up that was unavoidable. I'm sure he has a good reason for doing what he did. And this way, I got to spend uninterrupted time with my family without somebody interrupting us, right? So these are all things that I was telling myself to get myself into a high vibration. And you might be telling yourself, well, those are just stories that you're telling yourself to make yourself feel better. That's not the actual truth. But I beg to differ, because I would rather tell myself these stories to make myself feel better and change the reality around me, rather than continue to say it and see it for what it is and remain stuck, right? I want to have a contractor that turns up on time and is reliable and keeps his word. And so I would rather be in a higher vibration and tell myself another story that serves me better than be the realistic person that only will tell myself things that I see it as in the real world. Do you know what I mean? Because if you continue to perpetuate what is fact, you cannot change it. You cannot, and the law of attraction just works that way, that if you continue to state things as they are, which is what is fact today in the real world, you are unable to create a future world that is different from the one that you are today if you continue to perpetuate and only state the things that are the fact today. Does that make sense? So you have to tell yourself a new story. You have to tell yourself a better story that resonates with you. And that means telling yourself incrementally better vibrational things. Okay? So that is why, I wanted to give you these examples of stating things that make you feel good, which is that in all honesty, this contractor texted me later and said, "I'm so sorry I didn't come." He had like some plumbing issues come up on another job, so he couldn't come. So the fact that I chose to believe that something else came up was actually true. And it made me feel better in that moment. And it made me trust him, right? So I have to jump off because I have a call at 10 o'clock. It was so fun hanging out with you guys. Thank you to all the people who hung out with me. Let me know what resonated with you and drop me in the comments box. One of the, I do a lot of free videos because I love, oh great, I'm so glad that makes sense to you, Josie. So I hope that these tips that I gave you really helps you create new stories that don't make you feel uncomfortable, because the reason that new stories when it comes to the law of attraction makes us uncomfortable is because it is so like different from the one where we are today. So the discrepancy makes us feel uncomfortable, and the discrepancy makes us focus more on what's lacking. So instead of that, focus on taking incrementally different stories to get yourself to that higher place, right? Tell yourself incrementally better things that make you feel better, and then get out of bed on the right foot. That's huge. And I had a third point, which I forgot, which was major. And be open to receiving. Like, be open to receiving. You can do all the work on the law of attraction manifestation, but if you don't believe that you are worthy or deserving of receiving things, then you'll all forever be repelling them and pushing them away. Okay? All right, so I really do have to jump off. I love making these videos, and the only thing that I ask for you in return is, well, I lied, there's actually two things. Is one, please interact on these videos, because that is a major gift to me. That's the one thing that I ask for in return, is please interact. And that is the biggest thank you that you can give me. And then, oh, Josie, you're so welcome. And number two is, if you're part of my Facebook group, Becoming You, invite your friends. That is another huge gift to me. That means that I can get my message out to more people in this world. And that is my biggest mission, is to reach more people. So if you find that these videos resonate with you, my content helps you and resonates with you, and you feel like it's really helped you and you would love for it to help others, then invite more people into this group. Okay? Those are my two wants from you. If you've been following me for a while. All right. Hey, Smitha, I got to jump off, girl. You joined late. I have to sign off, but go back and watch this video. I think you really, really would love it. Hey, Chitra, thank you for the comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So as you watch these videos, either live or on replay, just go ahead and say hello to me and what you got out of these videos. And those are the biggest gifts that you can give me, is to invite others and interact with these videos. All right. Take care, guys. Bye. Have a wonderful day.